Hello YouTube, and welcome to Go Girl Gaming's coverage of the game Arche Age. On this channel I will be covering housing, farming, crafting, auction house usage, trading, and all related updates and features. In this video I will be continuing my in-depth look at crafting. The next crafting skill I am going to cover is machining, and most if not all of the items under machining are crafted using the carpentry workbench. So I am standing next to the Regal carpentry workbench that you can purchase and build and place in your home. Let's get started. First up is ships. The only thing under ships is the rowboat. The rowboat requires no proficiency, is extremely easy to make, has light mats. You only need 10 pieces of lumber. Generally, you don't need to craft one of these because you will pick it up sooner or later in a quest, depending on what race you picked. I know for the Nuyans, you actually get it as part of your main quest chain. For the elves, you can get it as a side quest later on down the line. I do not recall when I got a boat on the other side because there was a glitch in the quest chain for my Harani bugged out, so I stopped at level 10. And then for my Firon, I just don't remember when I got the rowboat. So if, however, you are impatient like I was, because at the time that I built the rowboat, it was the first time I had done the elf quest chain, and I wanted or needed whatever a rowboat. I had the mat, so I just built one. And then, of course, a few quests later, I actually got the quest to get the rowboat. But still, it was easy to build, and I got some proficiency. It didn't take much labor, so there you have it. Long story short, rowboat, you can build it. The next thing that I am very, very excited about is under vehicles. Again, you'll need the carpentry workbench to make the final product, is the farm cart. I do have a video that needs to be edited that has farm cart footage in action. The reason I'm so excited that I got footage of it is because this is a brand new ad to open beta and will continue on into live. The farm cart did not exist in alpha or closed beta. What the farm cart is a tool that you use, well, it's a vehicle that you use in order to transport trade packs. It is a nice addition that gets you from the rather steep jump from your donkey to a farm wagon. The farm wagon takes quite a bit of mats, some of them on the more exotic side, in order to build. One of the items in particular is, I believe it's the actual thunderstruck tree as opposed to a thunderstruck log. But anyway, it's a lot of thunderstruck that you need in order to build it, and that is a very, very rare drop. The farm cart, I was a little disheartened to see that you did need a that you did need a thunderstruck log, but my guildmate told me that, well, if you only need one log, that's great, because to make the farm wagon you actually need the entire tree, so you would have logs to spare. So I was like, well, okay, I feel a little better about it. Let's see if we can actually get the thunderstruck, and then we'll go from there. So very, very happy for this addition. Nice little transition between the donkey and the farm wagon, which I would still be going for, but that's great because you can carry 2 trade packs at once. And the amount of time that I spend doing trade packs in game, this will double my productivity in trade pack runs, so I'm very glad about it, and I hope that I can get one very, very soon. The other thing that's nice about the farm cart is, unlike the farm wagon, I can use cash in order to get it, and I get it from the general merchant. any General Merchant sells the plans for the farm cart. Costs you 50 gold, which is a lot better than the 50 Gilda stars that you need for the farm wagon. Now, I did get the 50 Gilda stars in alpha for the farm wagon. Never got a chance to make it because I couldn't get the Thunderstruck tree. So there you have it. Next up is gliders. I'm not going to spend a lot of time here because the gliders that you can make under machining are inferior to the ones that are available on the cash shop. Even the highest one, well, actually, yeah, even the highest one is inferior because it has no special skill. The one that you get if you're a patron, and the ones that you can buy out of the cash shop, are, as far as the flight speed, gliding ability, and turning and initial speed, are match it. And they also have the special skill of the somersault. And if you know how to use that, you can prolong your flight in a certain way. Those of you who use it know what I'm talking about. So without having the somersault, I wouldn't waste my mats building any of these. However, if they are needed, I don't know, because I'm fine with what I have. I would take a look around if you're really into the gliders. I know that there are some other gliders that you can get that are really cool. So I would take a look over in the other section of Mirage Isle at the gliders. And I think there's other places where you can get glider designs for better gliders. So there you have it. Components. There are lots of components under machining, which makes sense. All of these are made using the carpentry workbench, and they all require a variety of materials. Again, these are basically just things that you need to make other things. So they're pieces, parts. Ship supplies. All of these are needed, or used anyway, in the submarine. All of them have a proficiency in order to craft them, except the reinforced tail. All the rest of these under machining are for reforging. You will need one of the three of these. These are the salvage forges in order to, oops, hit the wrong button. In order to do the reforging under machining. And that's it for machining. Next up is metalwork. Metalwork is basically divided between two main things: plate armor making and smelting metals. As you can see, I actually have 10 iron ingots that I could make in my bag, so I have some raw iron in there. But anyway, that's what this is about: smelting the different metals available in the game, and also making the packs of metal in the game that you need to build stuff. Then next is the armor. Now you will see when we get to cloth and when we get to leather that there will be a category that says cloth armor or leather armor. That's a misnomer. You actually go into the individual items in order to craft them. For example, with the helms, to craft the helms or any of the other items under plate armor, this is one of those tiered skills sets, in that you need to craft the previous item and cannibalize it in order to make the next item in the tier. So for example, this is the craftsman's quake helm. You need the apprentice's quake helm in order to make it, and some proficiency in metalwork in order to make it. That's going to be true with all the rest of these that are for plate armor. Plate costume. The first one actually is a costume. It's a very neat costume, and I would recommend making it once you get the proficiency, and also checking the auction house in case somebody else made it before you to see how well and for how much it sells. This is a nifty little item when you make it. Granted, the mats are high and the proficiency to make it is high, but once you get there, it may be well worth it. This is a nice little item. It is a costume with a buff, so you don't have to remove any of your current pieces of armor in order to wear it. You put it in your costume slot, and it will give you an increase to your health, your physical defense, and your magical defense. One caveat, however, is that the costume buff remains active for only 30 days. However, you can reactivate the buff by washing the costume. So then the next question is, well, how do you wash the costume? And that is something for whoever buys it to find out. Moving on, these next two items are not costumes. These next two items are working items. Very nice if you are into mining underwater or doing some treasure hunting early in the game before you have the appropriate equipment. You really won't need the first item when you are doing aqua farming because you have a breather, but the swim fins for any of the things that I just mentioned are definitely something that I would look into if you're going to be spending any time in the water. And the reason is you get a buff to your swim speed of plus 30. The diving helm is nice towards the beginning of the game before you have things like boats. Once you get a boat, you really won't need it. But before you get a boat, if you're going to be spending some time in the water, particularly mining, again, for an aqua farm, you don't need it because you have the breather. But if you're going to be doing some mining or even some treasure hunting, before you get a boat, or if you just want to despawn your boat, because even though I had a boat, I did not use my breather. I was not sure if I could despawn my boat and use the breather, and for whatever reason, I didn't test it. I was busy doing what I was doing. But a lot of times when I'm in the water, I will despawn my boat just because I don't want people to know where I'm at that easily. Or messing with my boat while I'm not on it. So I would have liked to have had the diving helmet for those times, and I probably will look into making it, but we will see once Go Live is in. So that's what those are. Those are actually not costumes. They are two very workable, usable items, and now that the cash shop no longer has the swimsuits with stats on them, for me, that's even more important to try and get those, especially the swim fins, as early as I possibly can. Next up are the specialty goods. As I've stated in previous videos, the specialty goods are items that you place in your house to increase your proficiency in whatever crafting skill it's related to. The one exception here is the ingot decor pack. And according to the description, if your alchemy catalyst reacts successfully with this package of ingot decor items, you'll receive a special golden decoration. Last up is the metal fishing pole frames. As we covered in the previous video, in handicrafts, there are fishing poles. There are 4 metal fishing poles that you can craft. These are the frames that you need to craft those 4 metal fishing poles. And that is it for machining and metalworking. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and please stay tuned for the rest of our crafting in-depth look series in Arche Age.